Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2 Unit 6.3 Notes, Day 2. Today we are talking about power property of exponents. Our learning target today is to be able to simplify expressions by applying the multiplication, division, and power properties. Okay, so when we have a single power, okay, we have -2 times x to the fourth power. If I wrote this out the long way, it would be -2 times x times x times x times x. Okay? Now, the power of a property means that this exponent belongs to everything inside. So not just one thing. We would distribute the 4 to the -2 and to the x. Okay? So the way that works is we would put the -2 inside parentheses and then the x. So I am distributing to the 2 and to the x. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. And then if we were to figure out, hey, what's -2 to the fourth power? We would get +16. So this equals 16x to the fourth. This is our final answer. See, it's the final answer because I am highlighting it. Okay? So what we do is when we distribute that exponent, it goes to everything that's inside of the parentheses. Now, if there's anything inside the parentheses, we would clean it up first, which you will see a little bit down the line. Okay? So simplify each expression. Answers must contain only positive exponents. So as I'm looking inside the parentheses, there's nothing I can clean up. I'm going to give the 4 a 1, and then I distribute the 3 to everything. Okay? Now my bases stay the same. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. And 6 times 3 is 18. My next step is to simplify 4 to the third. So 4 raised to the third power, and we get 64. So our final answer is 64x to the 12th, y to the 18th. All right, number 2. So I'm looking, there's nothing inside to clean up. Remember, we want to put the -3 in parentheses so we don't lose the negative sign. And then I'm going to give the p an exponent of 1. I'm going to distribute the 4 to everything. The bases stay the same. 1 times 4 is 4. 6 times 4 is 24. 2 times 4 is 8. And 1 times 4 is 4. I'm going to clean up the -3 to the fourth power. And we get positive 81. So my final answer is 81, m to the 24th, n to the 8th, p to the 4th. Okay. Number 3. Taking a look, there's nothing inside that I can do. So I'm going to put everything in parentheses that needs it. Give everything an exponent if it doesn't have one. So this is going to be 2/3 a. I'm going to put it in alphabetical order, A, B, C, and then distribute. So 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 11 times 2 is 22. And then 1 times 2 is 2. I need to do 2/3 raised to the second power. And then to keep that as a fraction, I go to math, enter, enter to get 4/9. Now, if you want to do that in your head, you're really just doing 2/3 times 2/3, and when you're multiplying, you just multiply straight across. So we get 4/9, a to the 4th, b to the 22nd, and c squared. And that's it. Okay, so we clean up if we can, otherwise we just distribute. Okay, and don't worry if it's a fraction. We do the same thing. Okay, we got to give the 16 an exponent, and then I'm going to distribute. My bases stay the same. 1/2 times 1 is just 1/2. Half of 14 is 7. Half of 16, 16 divided by 2, is 8. And if you have trouble with those guys, there's just go 14 times 1/2. Okay, you can do it using your calculator. Now, the one thing that we do want to figure out is we want to figure out what 16 to the 1/2 is. Now, we're going to get real specific on how to do this, but right now, just know that you can use your calculator and it'll tell you what to do. Okay, so 16 to the 1/2 is 4. So we have 4 w to the 7th x to the 8th. All right, number 5. Okay, number 5. So this is the first time we've seen the fraction. And what I want to do first is check the coefficients. Can I reduce them? So I have 27 divided by 125. And I get a weird decimal. Math, enter, enter. And nothing happens. Okay, so I know I can't do that, but look at your variables. Y to the 5th and y to the 2nd, it's the same variable. Now, who wins, the top or the bottom? Yeah, the top wins. So my next step, sorry, I'm gonna put it over here, is we have 27 over 125, and then 5 minus 2, sorry guys, 5 minus 2 is 3. But I still have the 1/3. Okay, so just remember that I need to distribute the 1/3 to everything. And if it doesn't have an exponent, I'm going to write a 1. Okay, so the 1/3 multiplies to the 27, to the y, and to the 125. So we have 27, we have 125, and then we have the y. 1/3 times 1 is just 1/3. Now, if you don't know 1/3 times 3, put it into your calculator and you get 1. And then 1/3 times 1 on the bottom as well. Okay? And now we just have to figure out what all that is in your calculator. So remember, you can do 27, raise it up, 1 divided by 3, and it'll tell you what it is. Okay? So we get 3, y, and then we have 125 raised to the 1/3, and we get 5. And there we go, that's reduced, that's all we can do. Okay, So 16 over 14. That's what I want to look at first, okay? So I know 16 over 14, I can reduce that. Some of you just know, hey, it's an even number, I can divide it by 2 to figure it out. Yeah, that'll work too, okay? So that worked out to be 8 over 7. And now we also have, both of these are r's, so I have to figure out who wins, the top or the bottom. Now, if you don't know, just use your calculator and we get 0.75 for 3 over 4. 5 divided by 4 is 1.25. So I know that the bottom wins, okay? And the bottom wins, so I'm going to do 5 over 4 minus 3 over 4. 5 minus 3 is 2. The denominator stays the same, and we would want to reduce that. So on the bottom, we really have 1/2. Okay? Now, my exponent on the outside is still a 5. And I want to make sure that I distribute this to everything. Okay? Now, my bases stay the same, but my exponents don't. So 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 5 is 5. And then 1/2 times 5 is 5 over 2. And once again, if you don't believe me, we have 1/2. I'm going to times it by 5. And I want it as the fraction. So it's 5 over 2. Okay? Now, I'm not done. I know, guys, we're not done because I have a number. I need to know what 8 over 8 to the 5th power is. So 8 raised to the 5th power, we get 32,768. So 32,768. On the bottom, 7 to the 5th power, 7 raised to the 5th power, 16,807. So 16,807. And then don't forget the r raised to 5 over 2. Okay? Now, if I can't reduce here, like see how we already reduced, I know I'm not going to be able to reduce there. Okay? So that's why that's one of the first things we do is reduce those fractions. Okay? So, like I just said, the first thing I want to do is reduce the fraction. -4 divided by 28. Some of you know that you could have divided both of those by 4 to get -1/7. Okay, so -1/7. I'm looking at my m's, and the bottom wins. The bottom wins by 5, so we have m to the 5th. The n's, they're both to the 3rd power, so they cross out. To the 5th. Okay? So I have a negative number up front, so I want to make sure that it stays, that we don't lose the negative. I distribute the 5 to everything. One times 5 is 5. 1 times 5 is 5, and then 5 times 5 is 25. And then we're going to get our final answer. So -1 raised to the 5th power is not -5. No, it's -1. Okay, so I have -1 on the top. Now I would do 7 to the 5th power on my calculator, but we just did it, and it was 16,807. M to the 25th. No, Mr. Grice does not have that good of a memory, or calculator in my head where I can just flat out do that. No, we already did that problem. Okay. So number 8, why don't you try to clean it up? See if you can do that. I know there are fractions there, but you can handle it. Okay. So clean it up. And when you're done, you'll have something over here raised to the second power. Okay? Pause that video and good luck. Okay, so 36 divided by 12 gives me 3. The x's went on the top, so we have x to the 7th. The w's went on the bottom by 3. And then with the y's, the bottom wins, okay? And remember, you can just go 3 over 2 minus 1 over 2, subtract the top, and reduce. So the bottom one and the bottom one by 1. Okay, so I want to distribute this 2 to everything. Okay. I'm just trying to reinforce it goes to everything. Okay, so 3, the x, the w, and the y. Okay, 1 times 2 is 2. 7 times 2 is 14. 3 times 2 is 6. And 1 times 2 is 2. And the only thing that I can simplify is the 3 squared. And that gives us 9x to the 14th, w to the 6th, y squared. All right, number 9. Once again, I want to see if you can clean it up. Okay, so try to look to see which variables win, either in the top or the bottom. You should know that 2/3 cannot be reduced. Okay? All right, pause the video. Good luck. Okay, so we have 2/3, x to the 5th, y to the 1/2, over 3, w to the 10th. Okay? So for my next step, remember that my bases stay the same. Okay? And now I'm going to distribute this 2/5 to everything. So I have 1 times 2/5, which is 2/5. 5 times 2/5, if you don't know that. 5 times 2 over 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 1/2 times 2/5. Yeah, you can do some of this in your calculator, guys. Math, enter, enter. 1/5. Okay. So that was right here. The 3 had a 1, so that's just going to be 2/5. And then 2/5 times 10. So I have 10 times 2/5. 2 times 10 is 20. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Okay. Now, I know that kind of looks a little weird, and I don't like how I wrote that, so I'm just going to rewrite it. If you go into your calculator and try to say, oh, okay, well, we can do raised to 2/5, and it doesn't change or anything. Or what happens if I do in parentheses 2 raised to the 2/5? Sorry, I can delete that. And I have to divide that by the denominator, right? And the denominator is 3 raised to the 2/5. So I did it again. I could figure that out, right? Get something funky and do math, enter, enter. Oh, yeah, not yet. So we're actually going to be talking about more of that soon. So just know that the answer to that, it's coming. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite everything 2 raised to the 2/5, x squared, y to the 1/5, all over 3 to the 2/5, w to the 4th. Okay? All right. And then there was number 10. Okay? Number 10, you guys are all on your own. Pause the video and good luck. Okay, and your final answer is 2 to the 4/3, a to the 12th, all divided by 3 to the 4/3, b to the 1/3, c to the 16th. Okay? Well, guys, that's it for Algebra 2, Unit 6.3 Notes, Day 2. Your homework is 6.3 Practice B. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off. Thanks for watching.